At E3 2011, Nintendo showed off their latest creation, a tablet-like controller named the Wii U. It showcased gameplay for a home console that was never seen before. It combined the best aspects of gaming and technology's most popular advancements in the last decade. Motion controls, dual-screen setups, off-TV play, all packaged into a singular controller from the creators of the revolutionary Wii and Nintendo DS. It should have been a smash hit. Nintendo was unveiling their next home console, and it seemed to have everything consumers wanted from a new system. Why is it then that no one knew exactly what they were looking at? Everything has a story. This is the story of the Wii U. In this series, we'll be taking a look at the development, release, life, and legacy of Nintendo's 8th generation home console. In this episode, we'll specifically look at the road to release for the Wii U, and how Nintendo crafted and revealed the system to the world. By the end of the 2000s, Nintendo was bigger than ever. For the first time since the late 80s and early 90s, Nintendo was dominating the gaming market. The Nintendo DS was the best-selling system of the era, and the Wii was the most popular home console of the generation. After the failure of the GameCube, the Wii gave Nintendo a new avenue in a marketplace that had been chasing graphic fidelity for nearly 30 years. The Wii was lightning in a bottle. Casual gamers, non-gamers, and first-time gamers flocked to the system. The idea of controlling games with motion controls was not a new concept. Nintendo's first console, the NES, even experimented with this. But the Wii's simplicity, low price point, and pack-in-game Wii Sports helped the system sell over 100 million units during its lifespan. This made it Nintendo's best-selling home console ever, so a follow-up was guaranteed. Early concepts for a Wii successor go back to around 2008. At the time, the Wii was at the height of its popularity, with multiple big-name titles hitting the system from both Nintendo and its third-party partners. While the Wii was popular, it came with many downsides when compared to its competition, the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Both systems boasted high-definition graphics and strong online systems that catered to hardcore gamers' growing demand for online connectivity. The Wii, running titles at a maximum of 480p and hosting a fairly limited online network, was falling behind its competition when it came to bringing in hardcore gamers. Nintendo remained coy on the development of their new console. By 2010, rumors began spreading that a revised Wii with HD output and Blu-ray capability was in the works. But Nintendo swayed these rumors away. Satoru Iwata, the president of Nintendo, stated at E3 2010 that Nintendo wouldn't release a new home console until they felt like they explored all the creative ideas they had with the Wii. 10 months later, in April 2011, Iwata would announce that Nintendo's next home console, codenamed Project Cafe, would be revealed at E3 2011. E3 2011 started with a mild bang for Nintendo. Following their successful press conference from 2010, Nintendo began by showing The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Next came announcements for the Nintendo 3DS that launched earlier that year. The last half of the conference was dedicated to Project Cafe. Like so many times before, Reggie Fils-Aimé, the president of Nintendo of America, came on stage to announce Nintendo's latest creation. Rather than show off the system or controller first, Reggie gave Project Cafe an official name. The next era of Nintendo would be defined by Wii U. After the name reveal, the controller for the system was showcased. It was a tablet-like controller featuring a large touchscreen and the standard Nintendo buttons. Circle pads that were first featured on the Nintendo 3DS were in place as opposed to analog sticks seen on other controllers. Beyond the screen, Nintendo revealed a whole host of features on the controller. A microphone and camera were placed on the controller for video chatting. Small speakers were located on the gamepad. Even a stylus similar to that of the Nintendo DS's was included in the controller's shell. Concepts for the new gamepad were inspired in part by the Wii's blue light. Whenever a Wii connected to the internet received a message from Nintendo or another player, a blue light around the disc tray would light up, indicating that the system had received a notification. For the developers at Nintendo, they wanted to go further with the idea of communicating ideas beyond the standard TV screen. Nintendo showcased more than just the controller's unique features at E3. Multiple games and game concepts for the gamepad were shown off. a version of Wii Sports using the gamepad, a new version of New Super Mario Bros., and a concept trailer for a new Legend of Zelda splashed across the screen to give gamers an idea about the possibilities the Wii U would offer to developers. Iwata even announced that a new version of Super Smash Bros. Would be coming to both the Wii U and 3DS to a cheering crowd. Next came the third parties. Nintendo hoped that with a new high-definition console, many of the games that skipped the Wii would finally find a home on the Wii U. The most notable of these third-party companies was EA. While many EA-published games were released on the Wii, Nintendo and EA were not on the best terms when it came to publishing EA's biggest titles for the Wii. Major titles like Mass Effect, Dead Space, and Battlefield all skipped the Wii, while EA's popular sports games received watered-down ports. EA CEO John Riccitiello came on stage to personally announce EA support for the Wii U. While no specific games were announced, the partnership between EA and Nintendo was unprecedented. Everything seemed to be going perfectly. The Wii U was announced, its features detailed, and many of the biggest issues the Wii had were addressed in the announcement. But for journalists and consumers, the idea of the Wii U was more confusing than anything. Nintendo had failed to properly showcase exactly what the Wii U was. Was it a brand new system, or was it some sort of accessory for the Wii? How did this new controller work with a TV? Was the gamepad the actual console? The reveal of the Wii U should have been a slam dunk, but Nintendo suffered in the days following the announcement. Within 2 days of the system's reveal, Nintendo's stock dropped by 10%. Sony's new handheld, the PlayStation Vita, won most of the praise from critics on the hardware side at E3 2011. The Vita even beat out the Wii U to win the Game Critics Award for Best Hardware. All hope wasn't lost though. The Wii U wouldn't launch until 2012, which gave Nintendo plenty of time to right the ship. For the rest of 2011 and much of 2012, Nintendo focused their efforts on the 3DS and Wii. The last of the Wii's biggest games came out in late 2011 and early 2012. The 3DS received its own new games and a price cut to help it compete in the market. It wouldn't be until E3 2012 that Nintendo would bring forward more details on the Wii U. On June 3, 2012, Nintendo released a pre-recorded video detailing the Wii U under their Nintendo Direct banner. The 30-minute long video brought forth a ton of new information on the Wii U. First up was a redesign of the gamepad. The gamepad shown off at E3 2011 had slightly changed. The biggest difference was the removal of the circle pads for analog sticks. Nintendo also announced a Pro controller for the Wii U, a more traditional controller with similar layouts to the Xbox 360 controller. Iwata, who hosted the pre-E3 Direct, covered many topics about the Wii U's user interface, including the home screen, a social networking service called Miiverse, and a brand new game with New Super Mario Bros. U. Nintendo's E3 2012 press conference was dedicated almost entirely to the Wii U. In contrast to their show from the previous year, Nintendo showcased the entire Wii U console alongside the gamepad from the beginning of the conference. Nintendo announced new games for the Wii U, including Wii Fit U and the long-awaited Pikmin 3. Warner Bros. And Ubisoft appeared in the conference to announce new titles for the Wii U, including exclusive titles LEGO City Undercover and Zombie U. The final 15 minutes of Nintendo's press conference was dedicated to a new game, Nintendo Land. The minigame collection was a celebration of all things Nintendo and, more importantly, a strong showcase for the Wii U's potential. But for hardcore gamers, this was seen as a bit of a disappointment to close the show. For all of the talk about appealing more to core gamers, Nintendo didn't seem to be stepping up to the plate with software that matched their interest. Nintendo finished their press conference with a showcase of fireworks within Nintendo Land. With their E3 2012 press conference, it was the last time Nintendo would host an in-person conference at E3 to date. But the information didn't stop there. After the press conference, more games for the Wii U were announced, including a new Wario game and Project P100, a new title from Platinum Games. The Wii U's image wasn't completely fixed after E3, however. Many were still confused about whether or not the console was an accessory to the Wii or a brand new system entirely. Even late night host Jimmy Fallon was confused when he got a chance to play the system on his show. Nintendo still had their work cut out for them, and they didn't have long. On September 3rd, 2012, Nintendo announced the release dates and pricing for the Wii U. Gamers would be able to get their hands on the Wii U in November or December of that year, depending on which region they lived in. It was finally time to see if Nintendo could catch lightning twice. Thanks for watching. This is the first part in a multi-part series about the Nintendo Wii U. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and share it on your favorite social media platforms. In the comments, let me know your thoughts about the Wii U when it was first revealed. Did you think it was just an add-on to the Wii? Be sure to subscribe to catch the next video whenever it releases. In the next part, we'll be taking a look at the Wii U's launch and the great gaming drought that plagued the system during its first year on the market.